Welcome to Vibration Translation from Spiritual Awakening, Spiritual Integration, the present moments, and our authentic interaction with what is right in front of us, right now. And so I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're here with me right now. It's just acknowledging how cool is it that we can be together right now in the same space. And at this space-time conjunction right here, now in the sacred, ever-present now. Just taking a moment for that. Just to acknowledge that. And also to take a moment and acknowledge any fears, any limiting beliefs, any negative thinking, anything like this that has been coming up for you throughout today, throughout the week, whatever suits you, to think about. Just acknowledging any negativity that has just been floating around your reality experience space. Okay? Just acknowledging that, perhaps acknowledging that and choose what applies to you, make your own if none of these apply. Perhaps that you don't like your job, acknowledging that maybe you don't like the relationship acknowledging maybe that you just don't like where you're living, you don't like your environment, maybe you don't like the friends you're around, maybe you don't like the people you're around, maybe you just are really having problems with a lot of things in your life, or just thinking in one way or another that there's a problem in where you are right now, that there's something wrong with where you are right now, or simply just disliking where you are right now in any area of your life. And that disliking also leads to a desire to complain about it. And I'm saying this because this was this week's experience of mine. Personal story, so we can relate at a human-to-human level, okay? I'm not just some talking head that knows more things than you do. I'm simply relaying my human experience, and I'm simply following inspiration. And I got just earlier today inspired by multiple beautiful women, So the inspiration, it's all here to guide you back to you. Yeah, it's not that one person is better than another. It's that we're all unique puzzle pieces here to inspire and light up the unique things within each other that are needed in the moment. That's all this is. So I just want to say that because I think a lot of times on YouTube, on social media, this is off topic, but we're going with it. I just feel like a lot of the times on YouTube and on social media, we can get caught up in ooh, this person, ooh, this teacher, ooh, this guru, ooh, this thing that this person said, ooh, and just begin to idolize the people and begin to just feel like we're missing something in ourselves and begin to feel like there's something outside of us and more outside of us that we need. And that's not true. We're here to inspire each other. We're here to bring ourselves back home, right? That quote, we're leading ourselves back home. We're leading each other back home. That's literally what this is. That's literally what's happening every time you get inspired by somebody, every time you watch somebody's content that's ooh, whoa. Every single time all these things happen, we're leading each other back home. In the triggers and the inspirations, all of this, right? And what is home? Home is back to you. Home is back to the truth of your existence, to the truth of your being. And what's so funny? On my Instagram, I have written in my profile, let me literally go back to it just to get word for word for y'all. Curiosity, presence, allowing, beauty to the infinite unraveling of the truth of your existence. And recently I was watching Into the Wild, and literally in the captions up on the screen they were talking about something, and it's the truth of your existence. And I'm just y'all, Because this is what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, everything, this is what it's all about, isn't it? To the truth of your existence. This is what my life has been about. And I just feel like if you're vibing with us, we be on the same wavelength. My life has been about what's the truth of this existence, and whatever pathway we're taking to discover that physics. If we're taking, cold hard physics, if we're taking quantum physics, if we're taking plant medicine, if we're taking religion, if we're taking spirituality, if we're taking wellness, holistic wellness, if we're taking medicine, if we're taking this pathway or that way. Even if you are not on the path of, the path, but who's not? Is it true that you choose to be on the path? And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The path, the spiritual journey, that returning back to one, all that kind of stuff. The path. But really, it's like the path of life and the windings and the twirls and the dance and the beauty of just the existence of life itself, and to see that and witness that and be that inside of you, and see that inside of all people that you come across, reflecting to you the beauty of life. Because it is a special thing. Just inherently knowing that this moment right now, wherever you are, it's not going to happen again. Never, ever, ever in the same way. And yet it's all present here and now. For us to find the joy of this existence. And I wrote some notes down, and I'm going to use it as a little guide. I probably will put all this I wrote down into a Substack post, link it down below. And again, remember, the sacred is the joy. The sacred is the spark. And so, I was at work, and the last couple of days I've just been feeling so just drained and just and it's, if you feel that, or parallel with your situation, wherever this applies to in your life, if you feel that something's draining you, if you feel like something's not for you, it doesn't feel right, you just dislike it, acknowledge that is the contrast provided to you by life. But also know that any single thing that appears in your life, it's not here to be a punishment for you. It's not here to be any of those things. It's here to simply give you an opportunity. Here's the kicker, right? Here's the kicker. Are you going to keep focusing on the problem and blaming, in my example, the job, and complaining, in my example, as I have been doing, about the job, and complaining about the external circumstance? Are you going to keep doing that? Because, as I realized in myself, as I kept doing that, I kept getting more and more tired. I kept getting more and more drained. And wait a second. It's not that job that's draining me to the degree that it is, and to the degree that I'm feeling so drained. It's my focus. It is my thoughts that are draining me. It's the thoughts of negative thinking, of complaining, of, oh my God, I don't want to be here. Why am I here? And it's like perpetuating those thoughts instead of acknowledging the problem. Instead of acknowledging, like, hey, this is not preferred for me, and focusing on the solution. You can't get out of something if you're focusing on it as a problem. Then you are just continuously matching the experience of that problem you are having. Now, if you acknowledge, I don't like this, okay, what's the solution? What do you like? How can you invite more of that? And that includes your thoughts, and that includes your focus. So even if you're at a job that you're not like 100%, or like super fulfilled at, or super like love, like myself, where are you focusing on? Are you focusing on how much you hate the job or hate the place you're in or whatever it is for you? Or are you focusing on what actually brings me joy? How can I open myself to that? And how can I see through this situation that I'm in? How I can unlock that through this situation. Okay, and now it's like the title of the video, I think. What if every moment of your life is a ceremony? Every moment of your life is a ceremony. So this is a perspective shift that creates more beauty in your life. Now, by recognizing the beauty of what is, even that situation your mind doesn't like, you create more beauty from that space of the recognition of the beauty that is, from that space of the focusing on that beauty that is. You create more beauty from that space. It is invited then into your life because you are looking through its lens. So right, if you're looking through the lens of the problem, you're inviting more of the problem. If you're looking through the lens of, okay, this is a sacred moment, this is a ceremony, this is a sacred moment, this is a sacred reflection of me, then more of that is invited into your life. Then you become energized. You're no longer getting drained because you're not focusing on the things you don't like, and the things that are draining you within your thoughts also. Oh, your thoughts, you know how much you can start looping and thinking, and every day it becomes a drag, and every day is like, oh my God, I don't want to wake up. And every day is like, yeah, because you're choosing to focus and loop those thoughts instead of acknowledging and moving forwards and stepping and claiming into what you actually desire, into actually what is more of your truth, right? And so also, just to clarify, like when I say ceremony, like what if every moment of your life is a ceremony? What if your whole life is a ceremony? Which this is how I've been stepping more into operating like this, which is a insight I had from a ayahuasca ceremony where I decided to put this tattoo, "Now I am," on myself, because within the ceremony, I was like, it's literally just now. And there was no difference between here in the ceremony and here in life. Like, so what I'm saying in terms of ceremony, right? Like, generally, ceremonies are held to honor special occasions, like graduations, birthdays, whatnot, weddings. And these are held to honor, like, these special occasions, and they have their, like, rituals, a lot of times like rooted in tradition, and they may not be very meaningful to some people. It may just kind of be like like go through the motions type of thing. Sometimes they chalk down to superficial rituals that don't hold deep significance. And so when I say ceremonies, I'm coming from the point of view of like plant medicine ceremony, or some kind of sacred ritual ceremony. Or ceremonies that just simply, like, these are the ceremonies that hold the intent to connect one with themselves and with source. So this is my point of view of ceremony that I'm coming from, so you can understand this better. It's simply like a ceremony where one is taken on a deep journey within, a communion with God, source, great spirit. This is what I mean when I say ceremony. This is what I mean when I say, what if your whole life is a ceremony? It's all a communion with spirit. It doesn't matter if, you're taking plant medicine and you're here right now off of plant medicine, or if you're watching this video on plant medicine, that would be funny. But, right? That would be really funny. Hi, if you're doing that. But this is what I mean. Like, If you've ever had a plant ceremony, that space you enter, if you treat it as sacred, if you go into it treating it as sacred, as something you can surrender to, something you can dance with, something you can become empowered from. If you treat every situation in your life that appears in the same way you enter a sacred ceremony, what a game changer. The sacred, it becomes apparent in every single now moment. The sacred becomes apparent. And let's go back to the start of the video, how special it is. How special it is. Yes, it is special. Get those thoughts out of your mind that are like, oh, this is so stupid. What is she talking about? I know they can be in there, Can you open your heart? Can you drop from here, this head, into the heart, and just hear these words and just be in awe of the fact that this is all special? Why? Because it will never happen again in the same way it's happening right now. How God, Source, Great Spirit, all that is right in front of you, right throughout you, right within your entire experience, saying, hi, commune with me, play with me, dance with me. Can you see the joy? Can you feel the joy that you are so worthy of? Can you feel the peace that you're so worthy of? Can this be your starting point? Can this be your refresh towards whatever buzzing there was in your mind? Can this be your refresh? This state of deep peace, this joy, the spark from the spark of your heart, from that sparkle in your eye that kids have, that's still in you. What if that is your starting ground for how you operate your day? How you navigate your day, from how you be present, from how you witness, from how you surrender to, from how you create. Something just beautiful changes. Something, just all of a sudden, there's more beauty. All of a sudden, there's softening. All of a sudden, you feel your heart expanding. All of a sudden you realize you don't have to follow those thoughts. All of a sudden you realize actually those thoughts were depleting you. How you're perceiving things are really influencing how you are feeling and the experiences you are having thereafter. And all of a sudden you find yourself back at the seat of the creatorship that you are. The creatorship that you run. Which is this body, which is this experience of the creation that you are. You're back at the seat of your power, from where you can more easily now consciously choose who you are becoming and who you already are is unraveling, remembering, because you just gave it a second to find the joy, to find the beauty, to find some kind of awe in the experience you are having. This may be easier sometimes to do when looking back on your life and seeing how a certain situation that was perceived as very negative for you actually gave you a gift. Whether it was strength, self-realization, whatnot. And I understand, how it can feel like total and utter despair when you do not like the situation you're in, whatever that is for you, and you feel disempowered towards changing it. But can you realize is because you are disempowering your own energy by externalizing it towards the very problem you don't want to have. By giving up all your mental energy towards thinking about the thing that you don't want. Towards blaming your situation. When instead it's simply reflecting to you something within that you haven't uncovered or remembered about yourself, about your own power, about the force you hold within. And all of a sudden, more opportunities appear to you. It feels like you're in a whole new world. Life force rushes in, creativity comes back to you. You literally see things differently because you're literally like in a different world. Perception is so potent. It can deny you access to all the beauty around you, or it can invite all the beauty around you. And don't judge yourself for engaging with limiting thoughts and, stuckness and all this. Don't judge yourself for that. See what frees up then. Just breathe into your heart. And if you hate everything I'm saying right now, I get it. Because there'll be times where I'm watching somebody, speak like this, or, speak about anything empowering or positive, and I'll just be like, and I totally get that. There's nothing wrong with you. Just for those that may be feeling that or experiencing that right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I didn't actually read off everything that I had written, that I downloaded while I was at work, and right after I've shifted myself through everything I just described to y'all. I will be linking this one down below, as well as with a voice note download I had previously about your whole life is like a plant medicine ceremony. Well, it's kind of a continuation of that idea being expanded on. Thank you so much for being here, and let more beauty in, because there's so much beauty to step into. Really, there's so much beauty to step into. Right at the edge of that twitching, trembling fear, there's so much beauty to step into. Ah. I hope you see yourself as the sacred reflection to everything that you find beautiful. I hope that you see that anytime you find beauty in another person, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever, and every time you find yourself feeling any kind of envy for that person, just know that they are showing up in your life as a sacred reflection of that own beauty within yourself. And as you embrace more of that beauty within yourself, you become more of that sacred reflection for others. Slow down. Give yourself some space, so you can filter through what's actually meaningful to you, what's actually of joy. Joy, 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 joy. Joy, joy, joy. Of that inner child allowing to come through. Being allowed to come through by you. By you. Being... Yep. Bye.